You wade through the water of this underground cavern. It's up to your chest as you continue to move through, you and your halfling accomplice. Now, as you continue to move through, your dark vision and her goggles of the night allow you to see just ahead there are 3 fishmen pushing dead bodies downstream. Beyond that, there are stone steps leading up to an altar. At the top of their altar there lies a dead body, and in front of it, the undead Arakakra pirate captain that we've set out to find. He pushes the body down the steps and it rolls with a thud, splashing into the water. The fishmen then take that body and continue to move it downstream. Blood covers these steps, and it's only cleaned just a bit at a time by the dripping stalactites across the ceiling. As of now, you are still hidden in the darkness. What do you do? Hey there, adventurers and dungeon masters alike. I'm Cartoon Mark, and today I want to discuss an adventure that we went through and where I was a player, and how the DM did everything right and rewarded us for our creativity. This video I'd like to call Presto because we used prestidigitation in a way that was just for a little bit of flair, to look good. And the Dungeon Master said, you know what, for that you get advantage. And that, as a player, was a great feeling. Dungeon Masters, I highly recommend you do this for your players. Reward the creativity, because who's supposed to win here? The players are, and we want to give them every chance to do so. Now, in this scenario, it was likely set up that we were supposed to kill the fishmen, and then we were supposed to fight and kill the undead Arakakra captain. But we didn't go about it that way, because based on everything that we had seen previously, we thought that the undead Arakakra captain was going to be able to kill us. We didn't think we were going to be able to win. So I came up with a plan to not have to fight the captain, and maybe even get his minions to turn against him. Did it work? No, but I was being creative, and the DM rewarded us for that. There are spells in the Dungeon Master's Guide and the Player's Handbook, like Prestidigitation, Thaumaturgy, and Druidcraft. Now, these do not necessarily have any specific effect. They're illusions, they're small auditory effects, and the challenge is, as we're working with these spells, we may find that they don't really do anything. And that is a big deterrent for the players to not use them. In our games, what we should be doing is we should be encouraging the use of these spells because of the vast number of effects that they can cause. Maybe not damage, but other effects. Players, it's up to you to play with what the Dungeon Master gives you. We're going to talk about that in our next video, where we discuss how to use the environment to change the story and to better build the world. But that being said, Dungeon Masters, creativity does not exist in a vacuum. It's important that we give details for the scenario. In this situation, I decided, because I didn't think we could win the fight, especially against the 3 minions and the boss, that I would approach right up to the staircase, and I brought my halfling with me. When I got there, I called out to Captain Flare. I said, Captain Flare, I invoke Parley, and I'd like to talk with you. To this, the Kuatoa looked up, huh, and that was a great move from the Dungeon Master. The Kuatoa didn't look at me, the player. The Kuatoa looked at Captain Flare for orders. That is awesome. A lot of times when we're dungeon mastering, we think the monster's job is just to attack the players and that's it. But giving them a little bit of personality changed the way the whole scenario went. Instead of just attacking us for seeing us, they looked to Captain Flare for orders when they heard me call for Parley. And the DM rewarded them. The DM said, Parley, very good then. You may approach. Now, he already described that the stairs were covered in blood. So what I did is I said, okay, I'm going to cast Prestidigitation. I pull out my sword. I'm in the College of Swords, so my sword can be my magic tool, and I whip it to one side, and half the blood on the staircase splashes away out of my way. And I whip it to the other side, and half of it splashes the other way, cleaning the staircase as I approach the captain. And I worked my way up those stairs to see him. The DM was impressed with the fact that I made a really cool visual as I'm casting my sword from one side to the other, and as if the blood came off my sword, it splashes onto the wall beside the staircase. He liked the visual, so for that, when I started to talk to the captain, he granted me advantage. But I couldn't have done that if he didn't do what he did in the beginning, build the environment. He talked about stalactites, he talked about the darkness, he talked about the blood running down the steps. He built a great picture that me as a player, I got to work with and play with a little bit, which was a lot of fun. In addition to that, he directed NPC behavior to change. Instead of having them just attack us, and Captain Flare flies down and starts attacking us and it goes straight to a combat, he let us talk with the captain. He let the bad guy be a bad guy we can have a conversation with. Now, if we want the party to feel epic, as DMs, we have to give them that opportunity to do something and not immediately attack them, to give them advantage and disadvantage. Now what happened was, I had planned that I was going to approach the captain with Parley, and I was going to try to talk to them and convince them that we're on their side, that we want to work for them, that they should fire the Kuo-toa. And this was in the hope of eventually getting on the captain's good side, and then we could betray him later. But I told Rose, because I wanted advantage, I want you to use the help action as a halfling and hype me up a little bit. You know, when I walk in, make me like a big deal. And the player, Rose, said, great, I can do that for you, no problem. So I have advantage coming up, whipping my sword side to side, and then I present myself, and I wait for Rose to hype me up. And I look over, and our player is sitting on her phone. She's not paying attention. And I go, in character. And she looks up, and she goes, oh yeah, ta-da! And to this, the DM could have easily said, okay, disadvantage. But I tried to play that in character, and I continued to work with it. I was like, oh, Captain Flair, so hard to get good help these days. And I turned, and I looked towards the Kuo-toa, and I glanced back up at the captain. And the DM loved that, because now this little mistake where she got distracted by a text that came in, which is no big deal, changed the way the whole scenario went. My hype man was now forgetting what to say, and stumbled over her words. But I played it off as it's hard to get help, and I looked to the Kuo-toa, saying that, you're right, your fishmen aren't helping that well, and the captain agreed. It was a great moment, and I got to keep my advantage as the conversation went on. The DM in this case rewarded my quick thinking, and that's something as DMs we should do. Advantage is something that is such a simple concept in the game, it just gives you a better chance of getting something. You get to roll 2 dice instead of 1, and it's not always a success even with that, but it's fun. In this game, I actually had advantage on a roll, and I rolled and I got 2 natural 1s. The odds of that are slim, but I got them. So what we want to remember is that granting advantage doesn't mean you automatically succeed, it gives you a higher chance of doing so. In our last video, we discussed those chances of success being changed and just giving the party success when you want one. In this case, the DM didn't know if they wanted it to be a fight, or if I was going to seduce the captain, or if I was going to bring him to our side, so he just granted advantage. And when we made a mistake and we recovered for that mistake, he let me keep the advantage instead of neutralizing that advantage. I think this is a great thing for DMs to do because it allows the players to be creative with the environment as long as you're building one, and it rewards them for their quick thinking. If you start to play more like this, like our DM did, your players are going to have a great time and you're going to have a great time trying to stumble through what to do in this case. Now, again, I don't think my Dungeon Master was expecting me to have a conversation with Captain Flair. We ended up getting rid of all the Kuo-toa by signing a contract. I had a diplomat's pack saying that the Kuo-toa belonged to us, and he said, I want you to get rid of the Kuo-toa, and I was like, okay, well, they work for us now, I'll get rid of them, and we work for you now. And the campaign didn't end here. He expected a bloody battle or a sneaky thievery where we got away with all of the gold, or we ended up trying to kill the captain. But that didn't happen. We ended up signing a contract where we work for the captain and the Kuo-toa work for us now. And in this scenario, the story is now going to continue. And as a Dungeon Master, don't forget about that too. If your players are being creative, you don't have to end the campaign with a solid ending. It doesn't have to end with, and you got all the gold and lived happily ever after. That's what the DM was expecting, whether we killed them or not. You got all the gold and lived happily ever after, being able to afford anything that you could ever want. But we didn't end that way. We ended going back to our ship with the undead Captain Flair floating in the air over us with an obelisk over his head, and now we work for him, and we had to explain that to our ship captain. It changed everything. And now, if we want, we can go back to that campaign and continue it, because now we have to resolve how to get rid of the captain. We used simple spells, in this case, just prestidigitation, and we changed how the whole game was run. We changed the ending of the game. We made it not the end of the story, but the end of this campaign. So now if we ever want to come back to these characters, we have a new mission. How do we get rid of this possibly lich captain while working for him? How do we gain information while doing the raids that he's demanding us do at punishment of death if we don't follow through on them? It can be a very interesting story that was now set in motion based on what a player did. A player cast prestidigitation. So if your player says presto, give them some sort of advantage for it, let them have some fun with it, and it's going to make your story better, it's going to make your game better, and it's going to allow you to give you prompts so you can think of things to change how the end is going to go. Maybe the story doesn't end here. Now in our case, the story did end. We're going to pause for a while on this campaign and do a new campaign, but we can always come back, and when we do, we have more that we can do now because of that conversation. Let your party have that conversation. Don't think they have to kill the bad guy or end the way that you think they end. It's always up to the players, and let them feel epic. By doing these simple things, you're going to have a much better game, your players are going to have a much better game, and it's an all-around better experience for the whole party. Again, I'm Cartoon Mark. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like what I do. Share this video. We're trying to grow this up to match some of the other videos out there, so we appreciate anything that you can do for us, and I appreciate you watching this whole video to the end. Keep working on making this game better, because it's one of the best times you can have around a table with friends.